Hi everyone and welcome back to Dimitra's Dishes. So today I'm bringing to you a very special dessert known as Pavlova. It's a meringue that's topped with lots of fresh whipped cream and fresh berries. It's simple, it's light, it's delicious, it's gluten-free for all you gluten-free friends out there, and it's really very easy to make, much easier than you would think. It looks so fancy, but we're going to go over the ingredients and then I'm going to show you the easiest way to make it. Really what you're going to need are some egg whites, which are going to be the base of the meringue. Now a tip with the egg whites is you want to make sure that you separate them while they're cold, the yolks from the whites, but then you want to let them come to room temperature before you whip them, because then you get the most volume out of them and you're going to need that nice volume. We're going to need some cornstarch, lemon, we're going to use the zest and the juice, some pure vanilla extract, a little pinch of salt, and some sugar. That's all we need for the meringue, and then we'll go over the whipped cream ingredients as we get to that step. Now you might notice that I have this nice black thing in here in my sugar. I always, anytime I use my vanilla beans, I save them and then I plop them into my sugar, and then just like that, as it sits, it infuses the sugar with a delightful vanilla scent, and then I always have vanilla sugar on hand, which I use in all of my baking. It's lovely. It's a good way to not waste your vanilla beans because they're pretty expensive a lot of the times. So now, I'm going to begin by whipping up my egg whites. You can do it by hand, but it really takes a long time. So if you do have a handheld mixer or a tabletop mixer, this is the best time to use it. We're going to start off on a low speed and then move up to a high speed. And I have my whip attachment on here. Let's pour the egg whites in here. And I'm going to do that with a little pinch of salt. And as it starts to develop a nice foam and some body to it, I'm going to slowly add a cup of sugar, which I'm going to get ready right now. So you see that foam? Once it begins to get foamy, I'm going to turn my mixer back on high, and then I'm going to slowly stream in my sugar. So once it gets really nice and stiff and glossy and thick, we're going to add about a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Vanilla extract is that one ingredient that I hardly ever measure. I always put a little bit more than I need in a recipe, and that's totally fine. That's what you're looking for, these really nice, glossy, stiff peaks that do not fall off the whisk at all. You want it to be nice and stiff, and once it gets to this stage, then we're going to add our cornstarch and our lemon zest and our lemon juice to this. So now I'm just going to add my cornstarch, and this is going to give it that really nice marshmallowy interior. It's going to be nice and beautiful and crisp on the outside, and it's going to be marshmallowy on the inside. It's going to be lovely. And then I like lemon, the flavor of lemon. This is a very sweet meringue, so the lemon is going to kind of cut that and add that freshness to it, and it's just going to go really nice with the berries and the cream. So I'm going to put this entire lemon's zest in it. And then traditionally we add vinegar to this to help get that marshmallowy consistency, but since we have lemon, I'm going to use the lemon juice to it to add more flavor. And keep in mind, whenever you're zesting a lemon, you use the shiny part. Once you get to the dull interior, that's bitter and there's not really much flavor in it. So as soon as you get all of the outside shiny part, you want to stop zesting. And we'll cut this, and then all we need is a little teaspoon of the juice. Just like that. I'll mix it all in. Now I'm going to draw an 8-inch round circle. I'm just going to use the inside of this tart tin that I have. You can use anything. You can use a bowl, any round object that you have in your house, just draw a circle onto your parchment paper and then flip the parchment paper over so that way that pencil mark will not go on your meringue. You want it to be nice and white. And then scoop it all out onto your parchment paper in that circle mark that we made. So now we're just going to spread this out. And then I'm going to make a little indentation in the middle to kind of hold the cream that's going to go in there later on. Kind of like a little bowl shape, lifting up the sides. And you don't have to do this. I'm just doing it because I like the way I like for the cream to sit in the middle. You can flatten it out and let it bake as a disc. That's fine too. This just adds a little bit of dimension. And I also like to take the sides and spike them up and make swirls. How beautiful and glossy that is. Gonna be very elegant and very delicious. Now, just like that, it's ready to go in the oven. I have my oven preheated to 300 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's just gonna bake for an hour. After an hour, I'm just gonna open up the oven door just a little bit and maybe prop some like a towel or something to keep it open, and I'm going to allow it to cool for from 1 to 3 hours. You can leave it actually in there even overnight. If you're making this dessert for like the following day, you can make this the day before and then just leave it in your oven overnight, but make sure just prop the door open and allow it to cool, and it'll be perfect the next day. Okay, so my meringue is out of the oven. It's cooled really nicely, and I just want to show you something so that way you don't panic if this happens to you. The middle might begin to separate a little bit from the sides, and that's totally fine. Nothing to worry about because we will be adding our whipped cream to it, and it's going to fill up the whole center of it. It's completely done. Now I'm using fresh raspberries and fresh strawberries that I've washed really well today. Now you can use your favorite berries, your favorite fruit. Mangoes is still in season right now. Mango will go lovely on this. Any combination will work. Now we're going to make our fresh whipped cream, and that really is just a few ingredients. We have heavy whipping cream in my tabletop mixer with the whisk attachment attached to it. I'm just going to add some powdered sugar to it, just 3 tablespoons. You don't want the whipped cream too sweet. And then I'm going to add a teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. I'm going to whip it up all together until it sort of resembles yogurt, the consistency of yogurt, and then I'm going to zest my lemon into it. You don't want to go past this consistency because if you over whip cream, then it turns into butter. So this is perfect. Now I'm just going to zest my lemon into this. Give it a nice whisk, just like that. Now, before we do anything else, I'm just going to transfer my meringue onto my cake stand. Now you take out the most beautiful cake stand or cake plate that you have for this. And the best way to do it is just to hold it with one hand and kind of slide it on here to avoid cracking it even more. Now I'm just going to pile in my whipped cream into the center. And just spread it. If it starts to fall apart, it really doesn't matter. You can kind of hold keep the whipped cream as the glue. And then we're just going to arrange the berries. I'm going to slice my berries. Just going to take the tops off. So I'm going to leave some whole, I'm going to leave some sliced. And I'm just going to place them on top of my whipped cream. I think I'll put the whole ones in the middle facing up. think 3 are good in the middle. Have some slices. Just like that. Simple and beautiful. Now, with this dessert, the simpler it is, the more delicious it is. All the sweetness comes from the meringue, so you need something to cut the sweetness. The whipped cream adds that creamy, luxurious texture, and then the fruits add that freshness. You don't need anything else for this. I've tried to make it more fancy, but honestly, this is the best way to serve it. I'll cut a slice so that way I can show you what this looks like. Look at that. Perfection. I don't know if you could see inside here, but look at that. I'll take a bite. The lemon adds the perfect flavor to this. It's sweet, it's crunchy, it's chewy, it's creamy, it's everything you want it to be. I'll see you guys next time. Bye, everyone.